This is Osama, and in today's video I will show you the basic brush settings in Adobe Photoshop. Once you have your window open, you will need to go to File, New, and open a new document. I will open mine as 4961 pixels by 6000 pixels height with a resolution of 600 pixels per inch. And then click on Create. It will create a new document. Now the purpose of this canvas is to give us a platform to test our brush settings. To activate your brush, you press B on your keyboard. B on your keyboard. As you can see from my tools, it jumps the tools. So I now have my brush selected. Alternatively, you could come to the tools and then click on the brush. And then under the brush tool, if you click and hold on it, you will see you have a number of tools. You have the brush tool, you have the pencil tool, you have the color replacement tool, you have the mixer brush tool. All of which the shortcut is B. Now let's get our B and brush selected. So right into the settings, let's go to the icon here that has a figure. Mine has a figure 9 and a dot. And then when you open it, you'll find size, you'll find hardness. So we could start with those two. The size is pretty much the size. So moving it up increases your size. And to test that, because we have a free canvas, you can test that. You could also go up, get the size a bit up, and see what it does to the size. So that is on size. On hardness, it is also straightforward. It's either a hard brush or a soft brush. Soft brush meaning it has soft edges. Hard brush means it has hard edges all around. So this is a hard brush with hardness at 100%. And if I drag it down like this, you have the smooth edges. So this is it with hardness. Also, to undo what you made, you click Ctrl and Z on your keyboard. Ctrl Z is to undo, or you could come to Edit and Undo. Let's look at the next option you have here is this little box here. This little box gives you a number of options for your brushes, starting with the size and the hardness that we had. It will give you your size here. It will give you your hardness. It will also give you something extra here called spacing. So if you space it apart like I've just done, then you have your hardness like that, and then you experiment. This is what you get. You have the strokes or the tips spaced. If you increase the spacing, the same happens. Let's move to the other options that we have here. What are the options? You have the option for angles, that is more advanced. I'm talking about basic today. You have the brushes themselves here. And in the brushes, if you have Photoshop, you'll find that they are arranged in some folders. And they are also different brushes. If you open the first folder for general brushes, or you could have legacy brushes on your end, then you have the default and everything else in that folder. Then open default, you'll meet the first brush is soft round, and you can click and test it out. It is soft round. You have a soft round pressure size. We'll talk about pressure at a later stage. We'll have a round blunt, medium stiff, and then you could test and see what it looks like, and so on and so forth. You have a wide range of brushes. You even have a leaf brush that will give you these leaves when you draw. So this is, it looks more of a decorative brush. You have some grass here, and you pick a green color, Also, let me click Control Z. So let's go back up. You have a grass brush here selected. Change the color. Let's see what you get. You get some brush. There's more grass here and a lot more that you can play around with. So I want us to undo all the changes that we made here, all the strokes, and then go back up to default brushes. You may find it under legacy brushes, and then select the first one, soft round. Also, this is the same as this one if you have your folders mixed up like mine. This and these are the same. Select soft round. Let's go back to the first option here and raise the hardness to 100% and reduce the size to any suitable size of your choice. So we've dealt with the size, the hardness, and the spacing, the types of brushes that you get from this option. Let's move to the modes. Now under modes, it gives you an option to have your layer affected by the layer below. If you're familiar with adjustment layers and blending modes, this is what it does. It pre-makes your brush an adjustment brush or something like that. Alright, now the blend mode allows you to make a brush behave a certain way. If I were to pick an orange color, and then normal would look like that. A dissolve brush would look like that. Behind is grayed out. You have darken, multiply, color burn, darker color, lighten, screen, color dodge, linear dodge, lighter color, overlay, soft light, hard light. You notice that hard light changes even the color. We have vivid light, linear light, pin light, hard mix, difference, exclusion, subtract, divide, hue, saturation, color, luminosity. So this is how it behaves on the different blending modes that you choose for your brush. Because I have done too much, I do not want to undo. Let me add a new layer. Just add a new layer. If you do not want to go back, add a new layer. Paint it white. Pick a paint bucket and paint it white. Select your brush tool again. Let's move to the opacity. So the opacity, let's work with 30%. With opacity at 30% and every other thing remaining as is, let's pick a color that is not white and then do a simple stroke. I think I left my blend mode at luminosity. So you need to put your blend mode back to normal. Make a stroke. Which color is this? Oh, yes. So you make a stroke. This stroke is at 30%. Let me go back a step. This one is at 30%. If I go back in without lifting my pen, it is still at 30%. If I lift my pen and then go back in, now you get the overlays getting at 60%. So it builds up. If I lift my pen again and go back in another time, I'll get my stroke now to 100% because the maximum is 100%. Now let's move to flow. With flow, let's put the opacity at 100 and the flow at 30. Now with flow, it builds up in the opposite manner from the opacity, in the sense that if I am at 30% and then I go back in without lifting my pen, it will build up all the way to 100%. So the difference between these two, the opacity and the flow, is that with the opacity you have to lift your pen and then go back in for you to keep building it up to 100%. With flow, you can paint over it without lifting your pen and then it will still build up to 100%. Let's undo this and put our flow back to 100% and opacity at 100%. Let's move to smoothing. Smoothing will give you, in simple terms, smooth curves. Pick a brush and then make some curves with smoothing 0, and then put it up to 100% and then do the same. You'll find you have smoother curves with smoothing on and it's smoothing off. And this is more evident when you're doing illustrations that require things like faces and you want it to be more rounder than your hand can do. You turn up smoothing to some percentage to achieve that. Let's look at the pressure sensitivity. It is this button here. When you click it on, by on it is dark around the edge. It enables you to determine the size of your brush by how much you press on your tablet for the pressure sensitive pens or for the pressure sensitive graphic tablets. If I have mine at 0, so let me have it at 0, and then I'll do a stroke with the maximum pressure and another stroke with the minimum pressure. I get the same result. Now turn it on. Then let me do the first line at maximum pressure and the second line at minimum pressure. So this is what pressure sensitivity button gives you. The last thing I want us to look at is this little icon here. It's called the symmetry. If you turn it on, it enables you to draw in symmetry. If you choose, and you can choose many of the options here, so let's choose vertical. It will give you a line here, and then whatever you draw on one side, it will be redrawn on the other side. Let's do a tree. So this is what you get when you have the symmetry on, and then you can go back to turn it off. So these are the basic brush settings in Photoshop. If this video has been helpful, please subscribe. Also like and comment, and if you have any questions, let me know in the comments.